Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Stephen Protzman, your minister, coming to you live from our church sanctuary. Thank you for joining us this morning as we gather virtually once again, a spiritual community that seeks to be diverse and inclusive as we inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. Wherever you are this morning as you join us, we welcome you. May our time together be filled with joy, with belonging, with hope, and with the promise of who we can be together. We extend a special welcome to our visitors. Thank you for joining us this morning. Visitors, if you'd like to know more about our church and be known to us, please contact our administrator to be added to our e-news list or to be welcomed by our welcome team. I also want to express gratitude to our team leading worship remotely, including those who won't be on camera. We have our music director, Hal Walker, our worship associate, Lori McGee, our storyteller, Amanda Rome, Kevin Breeden, our technical host, Joe Kemmerly, our visual wizard, Jen May, our virtual host. We are a people who care for one another and value the connections we have with each other and with this community.
Love grows right now when I smile with you. Our hearts expand in the light of this room. These eyes are widening eyes, and I know this voice defines the cries of my soul. My heart is truly beginning to bloom. My heart is truly beginning to bloom. Let's open the windows and open the doors and notice this moment like never before. Break through the barriers and reach out a hand and offer a piece to a stranger or a friend. We'll raise the whole building and rise up above to the part of us that feels and knows how to love. And we'll sing of the goodness and speak of the truth, and the joy in our hearts will enlighten this room. No matter your struggle, no matter your pain, there's a love right now. It's bringing on a change. Open your eyes and take in the view, 'cause right now I'm smiling with you. Right now I'm smiling. Right now I'm smiling. Right now I'm smiling with you. Love grows right now when I smile with you. Our hearts expand in the light of this room. These eyes are widening eyes, and I know this voice defines the cries of my soul. My heart is truly beginning to bloom. My heart is truly beginning to bloom.
Good morning. When my first granddaughter, Ava, was born in 2009, my daughter, Leanne, was only 18 years old. They lived with me for over a year after Ava's birth. Leanne, being so young, struggled with the demands of motherhood, and most of the mothering of Ava fell to me. For the 16 months following her birth, I was her primary caregiver. In June of 2010, Ava's father found out he would be stationed in Missouri for at least a year, and they began planning for the move west. I was terrified. I still recall how it felt when they drove away with her. I felt broken and so sad. Like a piece of me went with her. And I guess it did. I sank into a deep and pervasive depression. After about 3 months, I finally became aware of my depression. I was so stuck in it that it was invisible to me. I had to do something to lift myself up, to find enjoyment in life again. It was then that I discovered jewelry making. I made necklaces, earrings, bracelets. I used cording, chains, elastic, beads of glass, crystal, wood, and metal. I made more jewelry than I could possibly ever wear. I spent hours upon hours in my newly appointed craft room with my pliers, wires, and beads. And slowly the fog lifted. Slowly I came back to the surface. We visited Ava as often as time and distance would allow, and in between I was okay. I had something to occupy my mind and my time. Making jewelry, the act of creating something beautiful, repaired my broken spirit. It opened me up to engaging in the fullness of life once again. And this experience, the experience of creativity as a spiritual pathway, is certainly not unique to me. I want to lift up a quote this morning from an article by Dr. Christine Paintner that really speaks to the heart of this idea. Here is another important place where the spiritual life and the creative life converge. In the profound need and longing to make space for and listen to the depths of experience that call me beyond myself in search of greater meaning in my life, into a relationship with mystery and toward a greater cultivation of spiritual practice. By intentionally making space in my life to create, I moved beyond my own suffering and found meaning in life once again. Come, let us worship together. We join Unitarian Universalists across the country in lighting a chalice, a sign of life's beauty and wonder, a symbol of peace and hope, an invitation to continue our ongoing search for the light of truth within us and among us, and a reminder that we are all interconnected in the great web of existence, of which we are each a beloved part. As Stephen lights our shared chalice, I invite you to light your home chalice. Would you join me now in the covenant written by James Villa Blake? Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
In the spirit of deepening our connections and offering each other support and compassion as our life journeys as individuals and a community continue, we take time now to share our joys and concerns, our struggles and achievements, our hopes and dreams with one another. Claudia Miller sends her thanks and deep appreciation to all who have expressed their love and concern for her recovery. She is receiving superb care from the nursing and surgical staff, and she expects to be home in 10 days or so. We send our love and our healing wishes to Claudia. If you have a joy or concern to share with one another and with me this morning, please use the chat box. We send wishes for Kevin's birthday on Thursday. Happy day. Also lift up the concern for the Navajo Nation. We send our sympathy to Colleen on the loss of a high school friend. We send our wishes for healing and care to Cheryl, who is not getting better and needs to see her doctor. Also shares the joy of Turkish delight. We hold in our hearts this morning everyone who is suffering from depression due to the lockdown and everything happening. Join Sandy in mourning the loss of Bren, a man who died this week of cancer. We send thoughts to Scott, who is suffering from depression. With sorrow, we think of the senior prom and the seniors who would have been in prom last night. And the red buds are blooming. Yay. Share Steve's joy that his entire family is isolated together, concern for members of the community who have been moved to nursing care facilities. Evian reports she found owl pellets going on a hike, which is pretty cool. Send happy birthday wishes to piano accompanists everywhere. We hold in our hearts those who are awaiting unemployment checks around the country. We celebrate with Eric and his parents' 7 months of sobriety. We send our sympathy and care to Heather, whose Aunt Jackie passed away this morning. Think of the friends who have relatives affected by the COVID virus. We join Vivian in prayers for a friend and former student recovering from the virus. We hold Brian and the family issues in our hearts. We hold everyone who is struggling with the demands of work, homeschooling, and fear. Pat shares a joy at sheltering with her grandson Elijah. Carolyn asks our concern for all the children staying home who are in unsupportive, abusive situations. May they be safe. We share Deborah's gratitude for her 2 sons with her. We rejoice in the beautiful weather yesterday and the plants that are emerging as spring takes hold around us. We share the joy of this gathered community of being able to be together on Sunday and having one another for this journey. Vivian sends congratulations to Deborah Lynn Hook for having her story published in the Beacon Journal. Well done, Deborah. Randy rejoices sharing time with Heidi during your homestay. Graver Deans are thankful to be at home with your dogs. Yeah, they're good company. I share the joy of getting to spend time with the RE classes yesterday. That was so much fun. It was good to see everyone. Concerns about returning to retail work. Thankful for Girl Scout cookies. Yay. Eric is rejoicing as friends Paul and Jamie gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl last week. Yay. It's wonderful. Randy and Heidi echo the thanks for Girl Scout cookies. And there will be a Zoom with the RE kids to build Legos. Ray Lynn's excited about that. That sounds like fun. Yay. We send our sympathy and care to Judy for the death of Daryl, daughter's brother-in-law this week. Lori says that Noodle is happy to be with everyone today. Welcome, Noodle. We're glad to have you with us. Thinking of Rod Thompson. Zuki is glad to be there too. Yay. We have many joys. We have many concerns we've shared this morning. There are others in our hearts and minds, people we love and worry and care about. I'm going to invite us now into a time of silence so that we can hold those we've named in our hearts and minds and honor our connections with one another, the spirit of life itself. So let's enter a few minutes of silence. I'd like to invite us now into the spirit of prayer and reflection with this prayer adapted from the Reverend Dan Schatz. Spirit, hear our voices. We call from our many rooms, opening ourselves to the gifts of love, the gifts of community, the gifts of music. Spirit, hear our voices. We are many. We are one. Spirit, hear my voice. These times are hard, and I do not know where to turn. Spirit, hear my voice as I search for solace when so much seems out of control. Spirit, fill my soul with gentle openness that I may see through it all the beauty of the universe. Hear my call, Spirit, bring peace. Hear my voice, Spirit. Sometimes I feel lonely. I'm grieving. Sometimes I feel afraid. I am searching for community when everything feels separated. I am hungry for the love of people who care. Spirit, help me remember that community is all around. Remind me of all the ways I can still reach out when I need a friend, when I need help, when I feel alone. Let me feel the love and community that surrounds and upholds more than ever. Spirit, hear my voice, hear my call. Bring love. Spirit, hear my voice as I ask for hope. When I am unsure, give me courage. Remind me that I am never alone. Spirit, hear our voices, wherever we are, wherever we go, whatever our hearts need this day. and every day. May it be so. Amen.
The story of the cracked pot. A water bearer had two large pots. One hung on either end of a pole, which she carried across her back. One of the pots had a crack in it, and the other pot was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. At the end of a long walk from the stream to the house, the cracked pot always arrived only half full. For 2 years, this went on daily, the water bearer delivering only 1.5 pots full of water to her house. Of course, the perfect pot was proud of her accomplishments, fulfilled in the design for which it was made. But the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection and miserable that it was unable to accomplish what it had been made to do. After 2 years of enduring this bitter shame, the pot spoke to the water bearer one day by the stream. "I am ashamed of myself, and I apologize to you." "Why?" asked the bearer. "What are you ashamed of?" "I have been able for these past 2 years to deliver only half of my load because of this crack in my side. It causes me to leak water out all the way back to your master's house. Because of my flaws, you have to do all of this work and you don't get the full value for your efforts." The water bearer felt sorry for the old cracked pot, and with compassion she said, "As we return to the master's house, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers along the path. Indeed, as they went up the hill, the old cracked pot took notice of the sun warming the beautiful wildflowers on the side of the path and was cheered somewhat. But at the end of the trail, it still felt the old shame because it had leaked out half its load. And so again, it apologized to the bearer for its failure. The bearer said to the pot, "Did you not notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path and not on the other pot's side? That's because I have always known of your flaw. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we've walked back from the stream, you've watered them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to grace our table. Without you being just the way you are, we would not have this beauty or our house." Each of us has flaws. We're all cracked pots. But if we let these flaws shine and are truly ourselves, then we can use our flaws to make the world more beautiful. Don't be afraid of your flaws.
Our first reading is Heartbreak by David White. Heartbreak is how we mature, yet we use the word heartbreak as if it only occurs when things have gone wrong. An unrequited love, a shattered dream, a child lost before their time. Heartbreak, we hope, is something we hope we can avoid, something to guard against, a chasm to be carefully looked for and then walked around. The hope is to find a way to place our feet where the elemental forces of life will keep us in a manner to which we want to be accustomed, and which will keep us from the losses that all other human beings have experienced without exception since the beginning of conscious time. But heartbreak may be the very essence of being human, of being on the journey from here to there, and of coming to care deeply for what we find along the way. If heartbreak is inevitable and inescapable, it might be asking us to look for it and make friends with it, to see it as our constant and instructive companion, and even perhaps in the depths of its impact as well as in its hindsight, to see it as its own reward. Heartbreak asks us not to look for an alternative path because there is no alternative path. It is a deeper introduction to what we love and have loved, an inescapable and often beautiful question, something or someone who has been with us all along, asking us to be ready for the last letting go. Our second reading is called Illuminating the Beauty in Our Broken Places by Omid Safi. I have a favorite coffee mug that I use every morning for making my own cup of coffee. Recently, my beloved cup got a chip in it. I don't remember where the chip came from, but I look at it each time I go to drink from the cup. Thinking about the chipped cup makes me think a lot about cracks, cracked spaces, cracked hearts. So thinking about cracking and breaking and chipping and healing has been with me for a while. But until recently, I had not thought about how there is a beauty that can emerge from the cracked spaces, that there is a way to illuminate cracked cups, spaces, hearts. Turns out that the Japanese have been doing so for the last 400 to 500 years. It's called kintsukuroi. It's a Japanese art form. Cups, chalices, mugs, dishes that are cracked are repaired with gold or silver lacquer. Kintsukuroi is also referred to as kintsugi, meaning golden repair. I wonder what it would be like to live knowing that our own hearts are like these cracked, illuminated, and healed dishes. Oh, it is so sweet and innocent to love a heart that has never been broken. There is a simplicity, a childlike naivete to that kind of love. And there is a love, a mature love, a whole loved, a healed love to loving someone who has been broken and healed, made whole again, and where the cracks are golden. We see what once was broken and is now healed. Sometimes they are stronger, more beautiful, more whole for the cracks showing up. Let's seek what's cracked in each other. Let's heal our broken spaces. Let's fill in what's broken with gold. May we emerge more beautiful, more whole, and more luminous.
Have you ever thought of yourself as an artist? There are some among us who we know to be painters, poets, musicians, dancers, but every single one of us is an artist. Art is defined as the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination. Sometimes we don't realize our ability to be creative and use our imagination until we experience heartbreak in our lives. Most, if not all of us, have experienced heartbreak, the loss of a loved one, a terrifying health diagnosis, breaking a beloved dish or damaging a piece of art, the end of a relationship, something that reminds us of life's fragile nature and the truth that everything comes to an end. Even our children who may be listening this morning have experienced heartbreak, the loss of a family member, the death of a beloved pet, the end of a friendship or a change in the family. When my first long-term relationship ended after 8 years together, I was devastated. We talked many times about growing old together and spoke of each other as soulmates. I grieved intensely for a year. I alternated between fits of anger where I smashed things and destroyed evidence of the relationship, and periods of intense sadness where I cried and didn't sleep for days. I wallowed in self-pity and self-righteous anger and ignored a truth. The relationship had become dysfunctional and the decision to end it was mutual. Once I grew tired of grieving and crying and being angry, I experienced new creativity as I started to reshape my life. I began my journey toward the professional ministry by entering seminary, and I started remodeling my 100-year-old house. It was so cathartic to take a sledgehammer to a wall. I grew spiritually during that time by recognizing that I'm not defined by a relationship or career or any of the things society says are necessary, all things that can be lost. A writer says, we are all so much more than our identity, an identity that has been broken or lost because of hurt and trauma. We are a sacred container of the content of our lives, a vase of possibility that stands proud and whole as a thriving testament to the beauty, grace, and resilience of the human spirit, cracks, broken pieces, and all. There have been many other losses in my life, but only when my spirituality grew deeper was I able to understand that heartbreak is a reminder that I am capable of loving deeply and being fully human. With the coronavirus and the loss of life, routines, and stability it has brought, we are in a time of collective heartbreak, and the outcome is unknown. We don't know what losses may still come for each of us. And even if we've been spared the loss of a job or a loved one, we've stayed home and avoided the virus, life may still feel like it is a bunch of pieces on the floor. Feelings of grief, loss, fear, and anxiety are appropriate right now, and it's important to feel them and work through them. But as I said during our Easter service 2 weeks ago, life teaches us that loss and destruction do not have the final word. Love and life will triumph. As spring continues to happen around us and the world heals from the winter, life is inviting us to heal and to open our hearts, which are stronger, more beautiful, more whole, and more compassionate because of the suffering we've experienced. Life is inviting us to be artists of the Spirit, to pick up the pieces, put them back together, and create beauty doing so. In the 15th century, the ruler of Japan, Ashikaga Yoshima, broke his favorite teacup and sent it to China for repairs. It came back mended with ugly metal staples. Seeing how hideous the cup was, Yoshima was unhappy. He ordered his own craftsmen to look for a more beautiful means of repair. The potters decided to fill the cracks with lacquered resin and powdered gold. Once repaired, the cup was not only usable again, but it became a work of art. This art form is known as kintsugi, meaning golden repair. Rather than hidden, the breaks and repairs are a part of the object's history and a source of beauty. Kintsugi pieces are actually more valuable and sought after as works of art than the undamaged original objects. Omid Safi says, "I wonder what it would be like to live knowing that our own hearts are like these cracked, illuminated, and healed dishes. We see what was once broken and is now healed." This is not about glorifying suffering and loss or an encouragement to seek them out, but an invitation to respond to the reality of life's brokenness and imperfections with our imaginations and creativity and with our love and compassion. Lori shared with us how she began to make jewelry in response to her granddaughter moving away. I've seen some wonderful artistry from you during this time. Delicious meals cooked and shared, whimsical face masks, creative ways to be together virtually, an incredible outpouring of financial generosity for our discretionary fund so that we can help those who don't have enough money for food or other expenses right now. Thank you. The world always needs the love, the art, the care, compassion you and I have to give. But as we emerge from our time of sheltering, our gifts will be needed even more. If we will join with others who share our dream of healing the world, we have an opportunity to pick up the broken pieces and put them back together with the gold of love and compassion, the gold of shared community, the gold of valuing human life and our earth so much more than political power or corporate profits. I am praying and hoping every day for nothing short of a spiritual rebellion in which the pieces of America are put back together in a whole new way. Omid Safi says, let's heal our broken spaces. Let's fill what's broken with gold. May we emerge more beautiful, more whole, and more luminous. This is the powerful, intimate, holy work we are here to do, the true meaning of our Unitarian Universalist faith, filling what's broken in ourselves and our world with the gold of hope, of love, of compassion, of faith in ourselves and one another. If we will choose to do this work, grounded in our mission of inspiring love, seeking justice, and growing in community, we will emerge more beautiful, more whole, and more truly luminous, and begin to bring healing and wholeness to ourselves and to our world. May it be so, and I know together we can make it so. Let's take a few moments of reflection.
Kristen Collins says, "We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music, love, beauty, and a sacred space where we can all belong. We give with the faith that together we have enough. This congregation, the UU Church of Kent, thrives because each of you believes in music, love, beauty, and sacred space. In spite of the need for physical distancing, we are strong as a community and able to be together virtually for worship, for community, for shared ministry. This and all of our important work is supported through our donations. During these weeks when we have not had physical worship services, our plate contributions have fallen. We recognize that these are financially difficult times for some. We hope that you will give as you are able in support of the continuing work of this church. Thank you. We now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and work of this congregation and beyond.
Come my way, my truth, my life, such a way as gives us breath, such a truth as ends all strife, such a life as killeth death. Come my light, my feast, my strength, such a light as shows a feast, such a feast as mends in length, such a strength as makes a guest. Come my joy, my love, my heart, such a joy as none can move, such a love as none can part, such a heart as joys in love.
Thank you, Hal. It is time to bring our worship to its close. Would you join me now in the words for extinguishing the chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. May we carry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again.